for your cue to call tonight at 10. You're watching News Channel 5.
The deadliest attack yet. A missile downs a U.S. chopper in Iraq as it carries troops toward home leave. Secretary Rumsfeld calls it a terrible day, but says U.S. resolve is unshaken. A deeply divided Episcopal Church consecrates its first openly gay bishop. And parched athletes facing a surprising hazard: water.
This is the CBS Evening News with John Roberts.
Good evening. John is on assignment. I'm Anthony Mason. It was the deadliest attack on American forces since the war in Iraq began last March. 15 soldiers are dead in a missile strike on a helicopter west of Baghdad. At least 21 are injured. Separate attacks elsewhere in Iraq took the lives of 3 other Americans, 2 of them civilians. In all, it was the bloodiest day since major combat was declared over. We have several reports on today's violence and reaction to it, beginning with Kimberly Dozier at the crash site.
Militants in Iraq promised to bring death and destruction to Americans this weekend. Today, they delivered. Witnesses say 2 surface-to-air missiles were fired at a pair of Chinook transport helicopters with more than 60 people on board. One missile found its target, sending a 10-ton chopper plummeting into a cornfield near Fallujah, west of Baghdad.
It was hit in such a way, though, that we believe that the pilot was able to maintain control and get the aircraft down.
This man saw the aircraft crash. He says the second Chinook immediately landed, carrying away as many injured as possible. The soldiers kept onlookers well back as rescuers searched for survivors.
This is a secured location and you're not allowed to be in this area.
They were also on alert in case guerrillas tried to hit the recovery operation on the ground. This was not a sophisticated attack, but the militants accomplished their goal. With the minimum amount of force, they took out a major American target and caused dozens of casualties. Militants have used heat-seeking surface-to-air missiles before, trying unsuccessfully to hit large transport planes at Baghdad International Airport. And late last week, U.S. officials had warned civilian aircraft of a new missile threat. American officials know the Iraqi army had a number of such weapons in its arsenal. They simply don't know how many or where they are now among more than 1 million tons of leftover Iraqi ordnance. It's one more danger now facing American troops. Many of the victims of today's attack were, like these soldiers, headed to spend time with their families back in the States, a reward for making it halfway through their tour.
Here we are, been here since, like I said, March, and finally getting to go home for a few days.
Tonight, there are more than a dozen families learning their loved ones will never make it home. Kimberly Dozier, CBS News, Baisa, Iraq.
Today's helicopter attack followed days of warnings and rumors, and it was by no means the day's only assault on U.S. forces. David Hawkins in Baghdad has that part of the story.
They're dancing in the streets all right, but they're not throwing flowers at the feet of their American liberators. Just a few miles from where the helicopter was shot down, Iraqis killed 2 U.S. civilian contractors working for the Army in Fallujah, where an American's helmet is a trophy of war. Another large angry crowd clashed with U.S. soldiers west of Baghdad when they shut down an outdoor food market. In Baghdad itself, a soldier was killed after his vehicle struck a bomb in the road. And north of the capital, insurgents blew up a pipeline. Another cloud darkening the prospects of the American effort to restore order and rebuild Iraq. The Army's trying to put the best face on what's been its worst day here since the first week of the war.
This will not be a hindrance to us. We will continue our mission here, and when it's time to go home and our mission is complete, we will go home.
For more and more soldiers, not to mention Iraqis, the sooner that day comes, the better, as increasing attacks call into question their ability to provide security for Iraqi civilians, or even for themselves. Although there were warnings that Iraqi insurgents were plotting something big, it's not at all clear that what's happened today was a part of that plan. Leaflets distributed in Baghdad called for an uprising against the U.S. occupation, a day of jihad. But that day is tomorrow. David Hawkins, CBS News, Baghdad.
The military did not immediately identify the 15 soldiers lost on the downed helicopter pending notification of their families. But it has been confirmed that some of the troops came from Fort Carson, Colorado. Bob McNamara is there.
The news of the attack spread quickly across Fort Carson from the main gate to military housing. But Fort Carson is one of several bases the casualties come from. The other bases, Fort Campbell on the Kentucky-Tennessee border, Fort Sill in Oklahoma, and Fort Hood in central Texas. Some Texas soldiers arriving home on 2 weeks leave from Iraq worried they might have lost friends.
I can be happy with my family, but how will those people who just lost their family members going to feel? So I just don't know how to feel. I'm confused.
Fort Carson has sent 12,000 troops to the Iraqi war zone, and to date at least 21 soldiers have been killed since the president declared major combat operations over on May the 1st.
Whether it's one soldier or many, the Army family take pause when this happens. We know that the sacrifices and the risks that we face are real.
Tonight, a spokesman for Fort Carson says that the casualties from Fort Carson could be much higher than those at the other U.S. bases concerned. It could be a day or two before all the casualties are identified, pending notification of next of kin. Anthony?
Bob McNamara at Fort Carson, Colorado. Thanks. In Washington, the administration reacted to the latest deadly attacks with a renewed call to stay the course. At the same time, Joey Chen reports there is talk of a change in policy.
Last seen as he arrived at his Texas ranch yesterday, the president was out of view today, and the White House said not to expect him to speak about the attack. Mr. Bush's defense chief offered his sympathies, but warned this sort of thing is bound to happen.
It was a terrible day. In war, there are going to be terrible days.
Still, in a tacit acknowledgement of the need to rework security strategy, the Pentagon is pressing to quickly recruit more former Iraqi soldiers to serve in a new Iraqi army. Secretary Rumsfeld suggested it was part of the original plan to put Iraqis in charge of their own security.
What happened was they disappeared. They disbanded themselves. What we have been doing since is reassembling them in various ways.
But in fact, U.S. Ambassador Paul Bremer ordered Saddam Hussein's forces to disband when he arrived in Baghdad just 6 months ago, a move opposed by some U.S. military leaders at the time. Key Senate leaders warn the administration may now have to change directions on other fronts as well, and make some decisions that are likely to be unpopular at home.
In the short term, we may need more American forces in there while we're training these people up, and we have to be prepared to go back to our European friends and say, we need more help. We're willing to give you more say.
The White House says the will and resolve to stay the course on Iraq remains unshakable, despite another day of tragic loss and another day of questions about what to do next. Joey Chen, CBS News, the White House.
The White House has now agreed to give the Senate Intelligence Committee documents on Iraq's weapons of mass destruction it used to justify the war. But Committee Chairman Pat Roberts didn't say when the documents will be turned over. Episcopal leaders are wondering what will happen next after today's unprecedented consecration of an openly gay man as Bishop of New Hampshire. Gretchen Carlson tells us the ceremony threatens to split the church.
It was a landmark moment as Gene Robinson was consecrated as the first openly gay Episcopalian bishop. With Robinson the target of numerous death threats, security was tight inside the University of New Hampshire auditorium and out. Protesters gathered to show their support for and against the new bishop. And in a last-ditch effort to stop the ceremony, 3 formal objections were presented during the service.
This consecration poses a dramatic contradiction to the historic faith and discipline of the Church.
But the real threat may be to the unity of the Episcopalian Church. A group of conservative worshipers gathered nearby to object to Robinson's consecration.
The Bible, according to conservatives, says this is not correct.
Right. I mean, it's important to say everybody's welcome in the church, but the gift of sexuality is to be exercised only between a man and a woman who are married to each other.
Conservatives have threatened to split since church leaders approved Robinson to become a bishop last August. There is also a financial revolt, with churches in Colorado, Texas, South Carolina, and Florida already deciding to withhold funds from the national office.
Would you be surprised if you started to see churches leaving?
I think there's going to be some change, some alteration in our relationships as a result of this consecration. We are going to pay a price for this.
And controversy is nothing new to the Episcopalian Church. In the early 1970s, it elected its first woman priest. In the late 1980s, its first woman bishop. But it's not yet known what the long-term effects could be about consecrating an openly gay bishop. Anthony?
Gretchen Carlson in Durham, New Hampshire. Thanks. Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, Hillary Clinton. Is she in or out of the presidential race? And later, running a risk by drinking too much water.
Know why I love lunchtime ragweed?
Enlighten me, Pollen.
By now, most allergy medicines people take early in the morning quit working.
Not hers. Her Allegra hasn't quit.
One dose of most allergy medicines doesn't work as long as you want, but just one Allegra 180 lasts up to 4 times longer than most OTC allergy medicines.
Her Allegra's still working.
For people 12 and over with seasonal allergies, side effects are low and may include headache, cold, or backache.
The all in Allegra must mean all day and all night.
Once daily Allegra, the relief goes on.
These are the Jones Boys, and this is Mom, who's found a way to keep up with the Joneses. Pledge wipes with orange oil. The only wipes with both the power of orange oil to help her clean fast. And Pledge conditioners to make the shine last. Because this isn't just any wipe with orange oil. It's a Pledge wipe with orange oil. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
An expedition in wellness.
She had a worry about her cholesterol.
Basically, it's a bowl of Quaker oatmeal every day for 30 days. Just gobbles up that cholesterol. Definitely helps reduce your cholesterol. I want to know how it works, but how does it work, Nick?
Well, I would...
Absorbs the cholesterol. It has to. That's probably why he's smiling. It just kind of eats it all up.
Still brushing your dentures?
Florence Sanderson?
You're missing more than food particles. You're missing the triple mint freshness of new Polidin. Polybescent power cleans away odor-causing food particles brushing can miss. Triple mint Polidin for minty fresh odor control.
Looks like heartburn.
Wait! They also have pressure and bloating.
That's gas.
We don't treat gas.
I do. Maalox Max. Fast heartburn plus gas relief.
Thanks, Max.
Maalox Max. When you have it all, treat it all.
Hi, I'm Keith Hernandez.
And I'm Walt Clyde Frazier.
What a marvelous night for the action.
Let's go to the play-by-play.
Oh, there's Mr. Graybeard approaching Miss Hottie. Oh, no. Rejected.
Clyde, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no play for Mr. Gray. Get that man our Just for Men Fresh In Color Gel.
It's specially formulated to penetrate coarse facial hair and gets rid of gray in 5 easy minutes.
Gets rid of strikeouts, too. Just for Men Gel.
The Rejuvenator.
Every day for thousands of years, Old Faithful has been, well, faithful. You can almost set your watch by it.
What causes it to stay so regular?
Stay regular with Metamucil Daily Fiber Therapy. It works with you, naturally.
We just can't say.
Get regular, stay regular. The natural way. Now available in powder, wafers, and capsules.
Recent polls show that if the presidential election were held today, Americans would be almost evenly split between President Bush and the yet-to-be-named Democratic candidate. But with no one Democrat taking a clear lead, John Roberts found a new surge of interest in the junior senator from New York.
Her husband, the former president, calls her one of only 2 stars in the Democratic Party. And for many party loyalists who have watched Republicans take control of the White House and further their gains in the House and Senate, Hillary Clinton is the one person who can save the Democrats.
And the bottom line is, we can't allow this election to go back to Bush.
Bob Kunst heads up HillaryNow.com, a grassroots movement to draft Senator Clinton into the Democratic race for president. Kunst has collected more than 10,000 names and is spearheading a write-in campaign to get her in the primaries.
I believe that Hillary's left the door open. I think if she sees this a wonderful reaction in what we're doing, I think that we're going to have her here.
The senator insists the door is closed to a Clinton candidacy in 2004, yet she continues to act like a potential candidate, last week launching her most pointed attack yet on President Bush's foreign policy.
We clearly need new strategies. What we are doing is not working.
Her command of the spotlight has some Democratic contenders complaining she should either get in or stay out.
There will be a real feeling among Democrats that if they lose in 2004, one reason may be that none of them could get out of the Clinton shadows because they insisted on keeping the stage.
Even this late in the game, Clinton's well-oiled fundraising machine could pull together the money needed for a run. And she has the cachet of name recognition. But she remains an enormously polarizing figure.
There's plenty of baggage with Hillary that would make a race against Bush a contest, but the polls now show she's in the zone of beating George Bush.
It was Wesley Clark's entry into the race in August that fueled speculation of a Clinton run. Pundits believed he was a stalking horse for the senator and was really laying the groundwork to be her running mate. Clark aides dismiss such talk as nonsense, but don't tell that to the Draft Hillary movement.
Actually, our dream team would be a Clinton-Clark ticket.
People close to Clinton say she wants to spend the next few years focused on the legislative process in the Senate, getting her negatives down and re-election in 2006. But political watchers believe, with George Bush looking vulnerable and new polls showing Clinton more than 30 points ahead of the nearest Democrat, 2004 may be her best shot at the big prize. John Roberts, CBS News, New York.
Officials in California declared victory over the wildfires today. In Cedar Glen, east of Los Angeles, firefighters took advantage of damp weather to cut vulnerable trees. The cooler weather has helped crews boost containment levels on the 5 fires that still are smoldering in the region. Just ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, echoes of Vietnam and the lessons that war may have to teach today.
Wish your dentures were this comfortable? Bob's denture adhesive is C-Bond.
Bought it for hold, love it for comfort.
Only C-Bond clings wall to wall with 3 strong adhesives in a thin velvet soft wafer. No gaps, no ooze. C-Bond, buy it for hold.
Love it for comfort.
Dentures dingy? Get a bright white smile with C-Bond brightening gel.
You're purple.
Yeah,
So am I. And I'm Air Miles.
so am I.
Bank One presents Personal Platinum.
And I chose the low interest rate.
Me too.
And I'm middle of the month payment.
No, I'm beginning of the month. You're purple.
Yeah,
Bank One's Personal Platinum. Choose the one for you.
I like Pilates.
Oh, I love drinking those.
Individual answers. Bank One.
What's this?
Breakfast.
It's kind of early, buddy.
You guys need to take some cholesterol off of you.
Honey, have you been reading the Cheerios box again?
I get that off the box.
Cheerios is still the only leading cold cereal clinically proven to reduce cholesterol to help your heart.
That was very thoughtful of you. Very early, but very thoughtful.
Cheerios, good for the heart.
Today, I switched pain relievers to the same aspirin my doctor said to take for my heart. You see, my doctor said some pain relievers can sometimes interfere with how aspirin works for my heart. For pain, he said it was safe to take more aspirin. And I found out for myself what a great pain reliever Bayer is. Fast, too. So now I take Bayer for my heart and Bayer for my pain.
Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
Bayer. Take it for pain, take it for life.
Looks like heartburn.
Wait! They also have pressure and bloating.
That's gas.
We don't treat gas.
I do. Maalox Max. Fast heartburn plus gas relief.
Thanks, Max.
Maalox Max. When you have it all, treat it all.
To play the blues, you have to understand pain.
Less pain, less blood. On your fingers or your arm. One Touch Ultra. Results in 5 seconds.
You want to feel it here, not here.
One Touch Ultra.
To you, downloading a movie off the internet may not be a crime, but to the movie companies, it is. And one way or another, you're going to pay. 60 Minutes, tonight.
This week, it's one of the biggest health threats in America. It's deadly, and you could have it and not know it. Isn't it time you started thinking about diabetes? A week-long series this week on The Early Show.
The latest guerrilla strikes in Iraq, bad as they are, do little to jeopardize U.S. military control there. But for many Americans on the home front, the mounting casualties are feeding a growing unease, an unease rooted in painful memories. That's tonight's Weekend Journal, a second look at the lessons learned from an earlier guerrilla war. It's been a tough week for U.S. forces in Iraq
101st Airborne
and for the D'Amato family in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania.
I'm a nervous wreck.
Marianne and Fred D'Amato's son, Christopher, drives a truck with an Army Reserve unit. News of another convoy ambush is terrifying.
You dread the telephone ringing. I have an answering machine that, I try to just listen in before I pick up.
Things are looking pretty down over here.
Email from Specialist D'Amato does little to ease their anxiety and their anger, especially at President Bush, who they say is overselling success in Iraq.
It's lies. It's been lies since day one.
Even administration supporters are concerned that despite progress in many parts of Iraq, to some the situation appears out of control.
I think in many ways we're winning the war on the ground militarily at the same time that we're losing the war for the hearts and minds of the people back home.
The seeds for doubt were sown when early pronouncements of victory gave way to 30 attacks a day and nuanced explanations.
The more successful we are on the ground, the more these killers will react.
It's doublespeak, constantly doublespeak.
The reality is that there are real problems.
Defense analyst Danielle Pletka was encouraged by what she saw on a recent visit to Iraq. Basic services restored, a return of some sense of normalcy. But she admits escalating violence appears to contradict that and invites inevitable comparisons to another war, Vietnam.
The average American is inevitably going to judge success by a lowering of the death rate of American soldiers, period.
I'm troubled when people say this is another Vietnam because I know that it's not.
John Lawrence would know.
We're now holed up in a small rice paddy waiting for reinforcements or evacuation.
He spent 5 years covering the Vietnam War for CBS News, detailed in his book, The Cat from Hue.
Vietnam was Vietnam, Iraq is Iraq, and the two should be seen separately.
But there's a sense of déjà vu for Lawrence when he hears U.S. leaders putting a message of resoluteness ahead of admitting mistakes.
Being honest with the American public and admitting failure is the prerequisite, I think, to winning the public's trust. Nixon and Johnson failed to do that, and you saw where it led.
Without that trust, support for going the distance in Iraq could erode. At the D'Amato House, that's already happened.
We invaded a country, and now we're occupiers. And we're dying because of it, and so are the Iraqis.
The D'Amatos aren't sure when Christopher will come home. When he does, they expect him to finish his final year at Penn State. We'll be back.
Oh, I should have used Preparation H.
Cool it fast with new Preparation H cooling gel. Now with vitamin E and aloe. Cools on contact for fast relief. New Preparation H cooling gel with vitamin E and aloe.
By age 50, if you're just wishing for good health, good luck. Help improve your odds with Caltrate. The same Caltrate shown in a clinical study to help stop bone loss may also help reduce the risk of recurrent colon polyps. It's never too late for Caltrate. It's new. It's hot. It's a revolution in activewear. Introducing the Bengay Pain Relieving Patch. The powerful new look and pain relief that everyone's wearing. To get sore muscles moving and relieve achy joints so they stay active longer. Ready to wear wherever you hurt. It delivers deep Bengay heat and lasts up to 8 hours. So put on lasting relief designed by the best. The new Bengay Pain Relieving Patch. It's what's hot in pain relief.
Grandpa, how come you always chug your Metamucil?
Because if Grandpa doesn't drink his fiber fast, he gets thick and gritty.
Mommy doesn't chug her fiber?
That's because Mommy found an easier way to take fiber. Benefiber.
Benefiber?
It never gets thick and gritty like Metamucil can.
So Mommy doesn't have to chug it.
Benefiber's taste-free, too. Mommy can even put it in her coffee or yogurt.
Mommy's pretty smart.
Benefiber. The choice is clear.
Room service. Your grape nuts, sir.
It'd take 4 bowls of grape nuts to get the B vitamins in just 1 bowl of total.
That's a manly breakfast. Your Raisin Bran.
10 bowls to equal the zinc in total.
I'll keep the gym open. Your Special K, Miss.
40 bowls to equal the calcium in total.
Late checkout this morning?
You need Total. It's got 100% daily value of 12 vitamins and minerals. No other leading cereal comes close.
Pull a Total,
I'll take
please.
Total.
Kitchen's just closed.
Total Raisin Bran. One bowl, 100%.
This little tip is going to make a big difference for denture wearers.
Polygrip's unique ooze control tip spreads a flat ribbon for less ooze.
I get all the hold without all the ooze.
And try new Polygrip with Polyseal. Seals out food, seals in comfort.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Splenda is sweet, and so are you.
Almost anywhere you use sugar, you can use Splenda, the no-calorie sweetener that's made from sugar, so it tastes like sugar.
The fast food revolution. It's coming, and the burgers, fries, chips, and nuggets you know and love will never be the same again. So what's behind these big changes? Can they make fast food healthier and taste good at the same time? A special Eye on America series begins Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Indian summer temperatures were ideal for the spectators at New York's City Marathon today, but too warm for the more than 32,000 runners who started the race. The conditions didn't stop Kenya's Margaret Okeyo from winning the women's race in course record time. Another Kenyan, Martin Lell, won the men's race. Runners and other athletes have always been told to grab a drink of water every chance they get. But Randall Pinkston discovered listening to this well-intentioned advice, they may be endangering their health.
Marathon runners call it hydrating, their word for drinking as much water as they can before and during the grueling 26-mile endurance run. But there's a catch. Drinking too much water can lead to a condition called hyponatremia.
Hyponatremia can be a very serious problem. It can cause, in the mild stages, it can cause just disorientation. It can cause death.
That's what happened to Jethro Defensor in a Florida marathon 3 years ago. His wife Ruby on the sidelines, cheering him on and reminding him to hydrate.
And I kept saying to him, drink more water, drink more water. Are you okay? Will you be fine? And he said, oh, I'll be fine.
From mile 16 to mile 23, I felt weak and fatigued. And then around mile 23, I was getting dizzy.
At the 24-mile mark, Defensor stopped to see a medic.
I told him, I got 2 more miles to go. Can you fix me up? I sat down, and that's the last time I remember. I passed out. And
his race ended in the hospital, where he went into cardiac arrest.
It was more than frightening, and because we almost lost him.
While it's important for runners to replace lost fluids, it's key to remember that the body is not only losing water, it's also losing salt.
What you're sweating is electrolytes, and if you don't replace your electrolytes with sodium, then that's when you develop hyponatremia.
One way to replace electrolytes is with sports drinks and snacks containing sodium. Women seem particularly susceptible to hyponatremia. After 2 deaths last year, some running clubs have reduced the number of water stations and are spreading the word about sodium loss. Jethro Defensor no longer enters marathons, but he still runs and makes sure he has enough water and salt. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, New York.
And that's the CBS Evening News. Later on CBS 60 Minutes, a report on internet movie piracy. And tomorrow on the early show, the latest on the battle for Iraq. I'm Anthony Mason, CBS News in New York. Thanks for watching. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Saving you and your family time and money with everyday low prices. Experience CBS News.
Straight ahead on News Channel 5 at 5:30. This has been one of the deadliest days since the fighting began in Iraq following the crash of a helicopter that was shot down near the city of Fallujah. We'll have the latest there. Plus, the Episcopal Church here in the U.S. embraces its very first openly gay bishop. It's happening right now. Coming up, we'll talk to local church leaders who are up in arms. The news is now.
from your news and information leader. This is News Channel 5 at 5:30.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Couch. We're glad you're with us. Topping our news, a deadly helicopter crash inside Iraq today. At least 15 U.S. soldiers headed home for 2 weeks of rest and relaxation were killed when their helicopter was shot down. It happened just south of Fallujah. As Charles Diagata shows us, that makes this one of the deadliest days for American soldiers since the fighting began.
It was the deadliest strike against U.S. soldiers in Iraq since the war, an attack on a Chinook helicopter that left a heap of charred, twisted metal. 2 Chinooks came under attack. The lead helicopter was shot down. The pilot from the second Chinook reported seeing a vapor trail.